Welcome to this week's episode of Objectively Wrong, presented by the Next Man Up. As always, I'm John, and that's Ibteen. We are forcing energy into this episode because it is late, and that's the only reason. Energy. Anger. Football. Guys, quarterback episode today.
Woo!
We got quarterbacks, and they stink, but we have them.
A dozen.
Yeah, we've got some quarterbacks is what we have. Every year we tend to, this is a position Ibteen and I almost universally, I still screwed up the clock, a position that Ibteen and I almost universally disagree on.
All the time.
Every year. Even last year's quote unquote unanimous list.
I hated him.
We bargained hard. Like there was a quarterback for each of us that was in the wrong spot.
Mm-hmm.
Straight up.
Probably multiple.
Yeah, now all of them. So, take every ranking from everybody with a grain of salt because, nobody knows for sure, right? We're not clairvoyant.
Oh,
We are
not. Have I not told you?
What am I thinking of right now?
The number 4.
Usually, yeah. Anyway. I'm thinking about how Moon Knight comes out in 2 hours. That's what I'm thinking about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if you guys aren't watching Moon Knight, watch Moon Knight.
Wrong. Yeah, if you're not watching Moon Knight, you're wrong.
Yeah, if you're not watching Moon Knight, if you're not a Marvel fan, you're probably wrong. But if you're not watching Moon Knight in particular, you're wrong. You're depriving yourself of fun. Enjoy life and have some fun. But speaking of fun, and speaking of funds, Funds, what a segue. Before we get into the fun of quarterback rankings, we got to take care of some business. And the business is that Dan Snyder seems to be bad at it. Ibteen.
Yes.
What did our Congress choose to do today with regards to Dan Snyder?
Well, they made a recommendation, as Congress does.
For those that don't remember, Dan Snyder is the owner of the Washington Commanders, which I can no longer have fun with that name. But go ahead.
And with that recommendation, they recommended that, Dan Snyder did something quite illegal.
And what was that illegal thing, Ibteen?
Oh, he may have kept 2 different books on his money and committed fraud.
Woo! I know you don't usually use Instagram, but there's a meme format that people use, which is it's not a hashtag, I don't think, but it's commit tax fraud.
Okay.
It's a thing. People put it on shirts and stuff. Did you know there was a meme for years ago? I don't know why this. I do not know the inception of this. The Nintendo character Yoshi had this fan lore that he was constantly committing tax fraud. I look up Yoshi tax fraud after we shoot tonight, and you'll be like, "What the hell is this?" There's a lot there, probably. I remember seeing it over the course of 6 months, maybe 5 years ago, and I'm like, "Who did this?" I promise, Yoshi has no need to commit tax fraud.
Does it include a never-ending list of dependents that he spawns?
I don't. Yo, that's actually genius.
Yeah.
That's actually brilliant. No, I don't think so, but that's so funny. You ever see one of those eggs hatch? One of his eggs hatch after? No one sees that. No. Right. They keep that behind the curtain. But what's funny is that is kind of where the comparisons of Yoshi and Dan Snyder end, because whereas Yoshi is fun, Dan Snyder just sucks.
So Dan Snyder did 2 things. The first one is he hurt the fans because he intentionally, allegedly, I have to say that a lot, right? Allegedly.
Yeah, you do.
Allegedly, intentionally.
Yeah, we aren't there to work the case, and we aren't inside the Washington franchise or part of the NFL. We are onlookers. Everything we say is all alleged. It's all based on reporting we have read.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, So Dan Snyder was targeting season ticket holders that he felt would not notice the money's gone and basically not refund them to season ticket holders. So he pocketed money from that. And then there's a rule in the NFL that 40% of stadium revenue from tickets goes to the NFL pot. And Dan Snyder didn't give that.
He's a bad guy.
Oh, did you know that years ago, like he pushed this law banning walking through crosswalks near the stadium on Sunday, so you would have to park at the stadium and not an adjacent parking lot?
How do you enforce that?
I don't know, but I read that today.
That's completely insane. So you have a stadium falling apart that you refuse to pay. Did you hear that chime or no?
No.
Okay, good. Because my email chime just went off and it went off in my ears and I was making sure it wasn't caught. Now I'm just going to X out of my email because that can get really annoying for me. So let's do a quick laundry list of all the bad crap Dan Snyder has done. No pun intended.
I wonder if someone...
I'm sure someone did, but I'll cover the couple of quick things. This isn't like... Remember when the Urban Meyer list came out? When we had like literally someone made it into a meme of just a list of Urban Meyer crap. I don't know if this is Dan Snyder one, but I'm using the term crap as a segue because this is a man that refuses to upkeep a stadium, literally dumping sewage on his patrons. He is stealing from the NFL owners to keep it into his own pocket. He's hiding funds from season ticket holders. And all of this is on top of the fact that he was implicated in a sexual assault issue or sexual harassment issue.
All of this is the part that could get him in trouble. Not like, it's crazy how the money's going to probably get him in trouble, not the sexual harassment allegation.
Right. This is actually insane. How is he still an NFL owner? How is he an NFL owner up to this point? And how has he not been removed yesterday? He and Stephen Ross have got to be removed. Dean Spanos is a bad owner, but he's not a criminal owner. Whereas Dan Snyder is just doing bad stuff.
Dan Snyder might actually be a criminal.
Potentially, allegedly, yes. Stephen Ross potentially tried to pay a coach to tank games based on a certain suit being heard at this moment. Mm-hmm. If that's the case, that's another guy effectively stealing money from the NFL pot to a degree. I have hiccups. We'll see if they go away. If they don't, sorry. The nature of what Dan Snyder has done from the beginning of his tenure to now has just been a steady decline. And now it's no longer so steady. Now it's just a steep drop. It's like King Dakar-esque. This is like X2. This is crazy. King Dakar is East Coast Six Flags. X2 is West Coast Six Flags. But yeah, it's not good. You can't be doing these things, Mr. Snyder, and now you have to leave. It's very simple. Get out.
Oh, there was a story that Andrew Brandt tweeted out that one of his friends was going to go pick up his daughters at Dan Snyder's house. And he was like, "Oh, thanks for having us, Dan."
Oh.
And then Dan Snyder was like, "It's Mr. Snyder."
It's Mr. Snyder.
Oh. Am I the only one that would have been like, "Okay, Danny," and then walk away?
I would have been like, "Okay, Steven." I would have just called him something different. Yeah, he appears to be just a bad guy. There's more colorful language we could use, but we're on YouTube now. So
we'll talk about him more when other stuff happens because other stuff.
Right. Happens. We're going to keep this. We'll keep it under advisement. We will keep it in the forefront of our minds. I might have just sneezed. It's passing. Oh, God. That's the worst. That's worse than Dan Snyder. No, it's not. But, we don't have anything else to say about it today. We have a full show. We got to talk about quarterbacks. There's not much else to say on Dan Snyder. I think the position of the show is very clear. Go away. I think it's very clear.
He is a prick.
Get out. I don't even know if that's a curse. I don't think it is.
No, it's not.
Prick?
That's why I said it.
Lit. I don't think bitch gets censored either.
Well,
honestly,
we're going to find out now.
Right.
Comment below. Did it get censored?
Did it get censored? Text 5 to 55555. Log on now. Thanks for voting. None of you did. So let's get to the nitty-gritty of why we're here today, which is why everybody is here today. It's quarterback time.
Whoa!
It's quarterback time.
Quarterback.
Now, this is also the announcement of our film study is over. We are done with film study.
No way. I never want to see you again.
If I have to watch the Alabama-Georgia national championship game again,
we will.
I'm going to jump off a bridge.
Will Anderson.
Probably stop it. I don't want to talk about Will Anderson anymore until next year, when I will want to talk about Will Anderson a lot.
And Bryce Young, we're going to have to watch it again.
I don't want to talk about him again ever. I actually am done with that. I'm excited for Will Anderson, but that's not. I would love it if the Eagles could have picked number 3 next year. He won't go number 1. It'll be Young and Stroud probably, unless one of them pulls a rattler. But
or Jacksonville ends up with number
remember
2.
last year when everyone was like Spencer Rattler is going to be the quarterback to take this year. I
never liked Spencer Rattler.
No, I know you didn't, but most people did.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's not even at Oklahoma anymore.
Where
I forget where he transferred to. Is it the U?
Utah.
Spencer Rattler went where? South Carolina.
You should have tried North Carolina. They tend to get a lot of draftable quarterbacks.
Yeah, we're going to talk about one of them today. Now, we told you guys a week ago, last week, that we're going to talk about 7 quarterbacks in totality today. We're going to knock one of them out quickly because there are 6 that we've ranked. And the 6 we have ranked, again, in no particular order, I'm going to say them in random orders every single time I mention all 6 of them. Carson Strong, Malik Willis, Matt Corral, Sam Howell, Kenny Pickett, and Desmond Ridder. Those 6 quarterbacks are going to be ranked today in an order that is not what I just said. Or was it? The 7th quarterback we want to touch on real quickly is Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
Because Brock Purdy seems to be a really, really, really low prospect on most people's boards.
Absolutely disrespected.
It seems to be completely disrespectful. Brock Purdy's not bad. He looks fine to me.
I want him.
I'll take him on the bench. I don't want him starting, but...
Oh, no, I'm talking about backup quarterback.
No, as a backup quarterback. And I think you'd be fine to have him as a backup quarterback. If you need one, it's not terrible. You could do worse.
The man has a very Chase Daniel-esque career in front of him.
He is so much worse. He is so much better a situation than Mike Glennon would be.
Oh, my God.
Like, Mike Glennon is still employed in this league. Just take that in. Until last year, until like now, Taysom Hill was a quarterback. Brock Purdy's no worse than that.
Honestly, Brock Purdy played on the Giants this last year. I don't know if they missed Daniel Jones.
I think that's probably true. I think that might be true.
I think he kind of does exactly what they did with Daniel.
Yeah, I don't think Brock Purdy's that bad. I'm not saying take him in the top 3 rounds.
No,
don't.
I'm talking about 6.
Yeah, take him day 3, and if he goes undrafted, I hope I get him.
Yeah,
I really do. If he goes undrafted, I hope I get him.
Although I'm interested in the Brown University quarterback.
I forget his name.
Perry, I think.
I forget who that is.
Yeah.
I totally forget his name. We're not talking about him today, so it's why he's not on my document right now. But so here's how we're going to do this. The first thing I want to do, the very first thing I want to do is do what we did last year, which is we're going to compare a little bit to Chris Sims. Chris Sims has a quarterback list. Now, for anybody that listened to us last year, if you didn't, that's okay. Welcome.
How dare you?
You bastards.
That should be.
I don't think it is.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I don't think it is. And if it is, Chris, sorry. And if it is, I just learned it is, which is fine. Then we move forward from here. But I learned that the later we do episodes, the more like loose I am with the language.
Oh yeah, you're loosey goosey. You're really vibing right now. Anyone who wants to see this, you need to go on YouTube.
Go on YouTube. Yeah, Tina's aggressively body waving right now. You know what's funny about? I gotta say this before we get into quarterbacks. So we did. This is our second take. We tried to shoot it yesterday, and something came up midway through to where we had to stop. But yesterday, we're getting ready to go, and I'm like, all right, Ebtine, ready? And Ebtine says nothing. Like Ebtine's just sitting there looking like this. And I'm like, all right, ready? He's like, and I'm just sitting there like, Ebtine. He's like, yeah. I'm like, you ready? Yeah. I'm like, you didn't tell me if you were ready. He's like, I'm just vibing, man. I'm like, no. You have to tell me. Would you believe he did it again today? About 20 minutes ago when we tried to start this episode, he did it again. Ebtine, you suck. Anyway,
I'm vibing, bro.
He's vibing. If you want to watch him vibe and apparently aggressively body wave, join us on YouTube. Linktree is set up in the Instagram bio. Stop everything you've ever done. I can't wait to watch Draft Day in 16 days.
Oh, I'm so excited.
I don't watch that movie ever except for that day.
8 a.m. draft day.
Not 8 a.m. You're not coming over that early.
Same time as Sunny Weaver, John.
I'm not doing that. Considering that night we can't sleep.
I know.
I am not waking up at 8 a.m. You're out of your mind. So, what we're going to do first is talk about Chris Sims' list. Brock Purdy, we are not mentioning his name again. We're done. We think you're going to be okay. Moving on. Again, the 6 quarterbacks we're discussing today are, in a different order than I mentioned them before, Desmond Ridder, Matt Corral, Kenny Pickett, Carson Strong, Sam Howell, Malik Willis. Those are the 6 quarterbacks that we are doing today. I repeat, Sam Howell, Kenny Pickett, Carson Strong, not Brock Purdy, Desmond Ridder, Matt Corral, Malik Willis. I'm putting Malik Willis last every time on the way I'm saying it because nobody is going to believe that that's the correct order. And you're right. Malik Willis isn't 6. That's why I'm putting him there.
He's 7th behind Brock Purdy.
Yeah, behind Brock Purdy. So one thing we'll address right now. All 6 of these quarterbacks have a knock.
All of them.
And a glaring one.
Oh, yeah.
Each one of them have a glaring knock. Corral, he's not that tall. Howell, he's not that tall. Willis only played for Liberty. Ridder, accuracy issues. Carson Strong, can't move. Kenny Pickett, tiny hands. There are problems with all of them.
Is Nakobe Dean taller than Sam Howell?
I would have. Oh, no, he's not.
Okay.
No, he's not.
Because I was going to say that linebacker is tall enough.
Dean's sub 6 foot, right? He's 5'11", yeah. I think. Mm-hmm. I don't think any of these quarterbacks are sub 6 foot.
You cannot tell me that Sam Howell is.
I think Howell's listed at 6'1".
That is a bold-faced lie.
Let me see what his combine height was. His combine height was, I think it's 6'1". His combine height is 6'1"?
Yeah. I've never seen a bigger bribe in my life.
That is a bribe and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sam Howell's combine height is 6'1". So there you go. He kind of looks like you, by the way.
We can believe that.
Yeah, he does kind of look like you.
No, I'm hotter.
Yes, Ebtine, the peak male specimen.
Oh,
so, yeah, so there's that situation. You have the same eyebrows.
I'm gonna puke.
The same beard.
I like my eyebrows.
And the same that's just your face, dude.
How
tall are you? You 6'1"? Ebtine and Sam Howell. Ebtine is Sam Howell.
This is not going to play well when we do our rankings.
Maybe it will. Ebteen should go first. Let's talk about Chris Sims' list real quick before we start slinging more mud at Sam Howell, because we'll talk about Sam Howell a little bit later when we get to his profile.
I'm coming for me. I mean,
yes.
You. No, I mean me.
Yeah, Ebteen and Sam Howell, that's Spider-Man meme.
Yeah.
All right, give me Chris Sims' ranking so that we can rip it to shreds. Out from 6 to 1.
From 5.
Oh, he only
does 5.
Who'd he leave off? Go ahead.
Let's find out.
Read it.
At number 5, he has Cincinnati's own Desmond Ridder.
Interesting.
Followed by Sam Howell at number 4.
Interesting.
Malik Willis at number 3.
Interesting.
Kenny Pickett at number 2.
Interesting.
Matt Corral at number 1.
Interesting.
I hate myself.
I'm saying interesting to all of them. So, it is interesting because historically, we disagree with Chris Sims a great deal when it comes to quarterbacks.
Entirely.
And this year, we have some disagreements again.
Do we?
We look at his list, look at our list. There's significant differences there. Especially the fact that we have Carson Strong on our list.
Yeah.
So the fact that he's refused to put Carson Strong there is odd. Now, I know he only does top 5, and that's fine. But considering who we have at number 6 and the fact that it's not Carson Strong is already the first major deviation.
All right, give me a countdown.
Number 6.
We have Sam Howell. I was so close to saying my full name.
Don't.
Yeah.
Sam Howell, North Carolina. We have him listed at 6 foot, but he did his combine height's officially 6'1", 220. And I'm going to pull up the same stats that I pulled up yesterday when we shot his segment before.
Okay.
So I really should have just known that I needed those again, but I forgot. Did you know Sam Howell's Korean?
I did not.
I did not know that. Sam Howell's Korean.
I'm not.
No, you're not. No, you're not. That's funny. Sam Howell's Korean. I did not know that.
Korean food a lot.
You want to eat Sam Howell?
God, no. God.
Don't. So let's take a look at Sam Howell's stats. I did not know that. That would be really cool, actually. A starting quarterback of Korean descent. I don't know if the NFL's had that. I'm not. If they have, I'm unfamiliar.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome. Okay. Now that's kind of where the awesome of Sam Howell.
That's where the positives end.
Yeah. So Sam Howell, that would be a great story. That would be awesome. The problem is his stats are not good, and this is where it starts to become an issue. Sam Howell has got clear problems, and Ebteen, I'm going to list. I'll do the numbers up front, and then you can do some of our analysis. He quarterbacked 3 seasons at North Carolina. 422 attempts his first year, 61.4% completions, 3,600 yards roughly, 38 touchdowns, 7 picks, 36 sacks. It's not bad. It's actually pretty good. Year 2, 2020, probably the year he had the most talent. 348 attempts passing. So steep decline, about 80 passes less. 68.1% though, big jump. Yardage stayed roughly the same though, just south of 3,600 for 30 touchdowns and 7 picks. But again, way less attempts. So if the attempt number had been higher, probably looking at a much larger yardage number. So his best season was probably 2020, only 33 sacks. So not too bad there either. Here's the problem, is this past year, 2021, one less pass than 2020, 347 for a 62.5% completion percentage, drops commensurately. For yardage that just beats 3,056 yards, 24 touchdowns to 9 picks, sacked 48 times. That's not good. Once you break 40, it's bad. You break 45, that's a nightmare. He's getting close to 50.
He does run a lot in college.
So that's the thing I'll raise here. His rushing total, he ran the ball 94 times in 2019, 92 times in 2020, 183 times this past season. His yardage total this year rushing the ball was 828, whereas the last 2 years combined was less than 200 yards. He had 11 touchdowns rushing this year. The sack yardage, rushing yardage, and sacks coincide differently in college than they do in the pros, so it's a little difficult to track. He clearly became more of a dual threat, though. That's a lot of running attempts.
Who was
a lot of attempts?
Was his running backs 2 years ago? Were they Javonte Williams and Michael Carter?
They were.
That's a lot of talent to lose at running back.
That is a lot of talent. Didn't they have De'Ami Brown in that room too?
Did they?
I think so.
Not
running the ball. But...
Javonte Williams is the current Broncos starter at running back.
Yep.
Michael Carter is on the Jets with a defined role, I think, as a third down running back.
De'Ami Brown was also a Tar Heel, yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, he lost talent.
He lost a lot of talent.
Here's my problem with Sam Howell. And do you want like an overview or do you want to go pick like negative by negative by negative by negative?
Rip him to hell. Do whatever you feel is right.
He's a backup quarterback. He's who I want my backup quarterback to be. This man is a project at best. His throwing motion is way too high. I mean, but
really high.
Yeah, he is short.
For a short player, it's weird that it's so high.
But the thing is, he can run in between tackles. I don't think he's that natural of a runner. I think he's very tough as a runner. Like he'll put his body out there. He'll get in between tackles, but I don't think it's like a natural weapon that he can use in the NFL to like a full extent, like a Lamar Jackson. He has a pretty decent arm. Probably the best arm in the class when at least it was measured that way in the combine. His deep ball's probably the best in the class. He has an arm that he has an arm like that NFL teams will be happy to work with, but I don't see it.
He reminds me of this year's Zach Wilson, honestly. Last year, Zach Wilson wowed people at his pro day with his arm. Okay, great. You could do whatever you want in shorts and shirt. But again, that was a player that was not ready to take over day one. Not even a little bit. And Sam Howell feels the exact same way. Yes, he can outthrow some quarterbacks in the league right now. Yes, he can. He can outthrow some of them.
Dud after dud.
He has got some of the hottest tape and some of the coldest tape. And that cold is icy. It's icy. And not the good kind like Matt Ryan. It's rough.
The question is, do you have a franchise quarterback? I don't think you have one right now.
I don't. And Sam Howell, no.
I think if you want to project it 3 years down the line, then sure, Tennessee, draft him if you want. Because you can have Tannehill for a little bit longer. I think
if you draft Sam Howell to start tomorrow, if you draft him to start this year, I think you're going to be looking for the next quarterback 3 years from now.
No, if you draft him to start next year, I think you look at the next quarterback draft.
That was what happened with Carolina. Carolina drafted Jimmy Clausen, and then they took Cam Newton the year after.
I think you can see like a Josh Rosen situation happening again if you draft him and play him this year.
No good. I could see that. And it's even crazier because people view him as like one of the more pro-ready quarterbacks, and I just don't see it.
I think
that said, I do have him day 2. Team does not, but I do have him day 2, late 2, early 3.
If you want a player comp, it's sitting right there. It's obvious. It's Dia Baker Mayfield.
It's Baker Mayfield, but he's not as good.
Not even close to as good.
Baker's got better. Baker's personality, I still don't view it as a major negative. I think he's a good enough leader.
I think everyone else does.
What, views it as a negative?
Yeah.
Oh. Mm-hmm. But you know who really views it as a negative apparently is Cleveland. Mm-hmm. So much so that they traded for Chex Notes Deshaun Watson.
He leads some things.
Still weird. It doesn't get any less weird. But Baker Mayfield has personality. He's got attitude. He's got leadership. He has legitimate talent. But he's clearly rubbed his locker room the wrong way.
To me, it's clear that Sam Howell tried to emulate that personality in his college tape. Because I can feel it. Yeah. It really just feels like like we had Baker Mayfield, and then we had a guy who wanted to be Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, you know what's funny is Baker Mayfield. People thought he was just emulating Manziel, and no, and that because Manziel couldn't throw as well as Baker could throw. So I don't view Howell as a prospect that I'm especially excited by. That said, Ebtine and I at this point, considering some of the articles we've read, there's a quarterback that we'll talk about a little later that we heard today is almost universally considered a first round pick that has not been viewed that way up until now. You could see anywhere from 2 to 4 quarterbacks go in this first round in a relatively weak quarterback year, and it's probably going to be 4.
Yeah.
Anywhere from 2 to 4, but it's probably 4.
It's a weak quarterback year, but it's also a weak pool of talent in the NFL right now.
You know what's funny? The way the way it's going right now, the way the news cycle is going right now with quarterbacks, you could see 5. You could. I don't think you will, but you could see 5.
Okay, so you have a late 2 or 3rd round.
I have a late 2 or 3. I still believe he's gonna go in the first, but I have a late 2 or 3 grade on him.
Going in the first.
Sam Howell.
Sam Howell will go in the first.
I think it's very possible.
Whoever takes him in the first, I'm giving you an F.
Probably.
Yeah. I have a 4th round grade on Sam Howell. Like I said, I think he's a backup quarterback.
I have Howell in the first still, not because of his talent, but because of the 5th-year option. I could see a team making the move that could utilize him as a project, come up, get him, and have him sit.
I think we're going to see a Gardner Minshew type career.
You know who I could see do this? Really? Indy. I could see Indy do that. They don't have a 1.
Just get Baker.
He's going to
get cut at this point.
Yeah, but Sam Howell's at least quieter than like Baker Mayfield's got an attitude, right? Baker Mayfield's got an attitude of I'm going to start no matter what. Whereas if you put Baker Mayfield in the locker room with Matt Ryan next year, that's not going to go well.
How long do we actually expect Matt Ryan to be in Indy?
A year or 2.
A year or 2.
That's why I'm saying Sam Howell. That's why I'm saying Indy taking a quarterback this year makes a lot of sense. They just don't have a 1, so they have to find a way to get it.
The more I look at Sam Howell, the more I can just imagine him in Tennessee.
That's another great fit, and they have a 1. That's another good fit. They have a 1 and no obvious need outside of quarterback. I don't know.
They just don't have a good enough team to compete with because of the quarterback.
The Titans?
Yeah. It's funny. You don't really have a quarterback need, but you're also limited by that quarterback.
They also kind of need a WR2.
Yeah. Julio did not work out.
Julio didn't work and he left.
Coming, John. I told you.
I mean, how is he not a Packer yet? If he's a Packer, by the way, we are absolved from 3 shots.
I know.
I am taking 3 shots off our list because that would be absurd. That would be amazing. Just for the lulz, we would take 3 shots off. Let's get to number 5 because we don't need to be here all night, but we do want to deep dive. And they get fun moving forward with number 5.
Number 5, we have Carson Strong out of Nevada.
What? The player that Chris Sims felt unworthy to rank? You know what I find funny is that of all the players we have that we did the analysis on, the one with the least amount of notes is the guy we put number 1.
Yeah.
The guy with the least amount of notes is the guy we put number 1. We put 1 sentence up there. We didn't put really much any there at all.
Now, let's start with the negatives of Carson Strong because he does have more positives.
Full disclosure, we actually kind of like him. We do kind of like him.
The man is a statue. The man does not.
He's a tree.
He cannot move laterally. He does not know how to scurry or run.
This is so not a. He's not a new school quarterback at all.
Before Mike Tomlin became interested in quarterbacks like Malik Willis, Kenny Pickett, Desmond Ridder, maybe
Corral.
I had Carson Strong to the Steelers 24/7 because he's basically Big Ben right now.
We had him mocked there months ago, but things have changed a great deal since then. So yeah. So here we are with Carson Strong trying to find out where he goes. Why is that second team listed there? Was that just because of what was happening with a certain quarterback at that time?
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm looking at it. For those that can't see it, and none of you can because we're not showing this, we had put down Arizona. That tells you how long ago we did the quarterback rankings. It's been a couple weeks.
Another negative for Carson Strong.
So you could take Cleveland off that list too.
Another negative for Carson Strong is at times it appears he struggles to read the field, whether that's progressions like during a play or snap reads beforehand. And it is noticeable on his tape. I honestly feel you could coach that, but we'll see.
Carson Strong has teachable issues. The issues that Carson Strong has, you can coach out of him. The problem, though, is, well, actually, this isn't even a problem. This is actually, I say problem, but I'm actually wrong on that. Here's a positive about Carson Strong. While Sam Howell declined, Carson Strong did not. He ascended. Now, I'm going to read you his rushing stat first because it's hilarious and it should paint the picture of like what sacks do to you in college from a rushing stat perspective.
Okay.
He ran the ball 51 times. He was sacked 37 times. That means he really ran 14 times.
Okay.
But with those sacks, his yardage total this year, what do you think it was?
-75.
-208. Yeah. So he doesn't run. It's just not, you're not getting that. The man's career number rushing the ball through 4 years. He had his first season. I guess he ran the ball one time for 4 yards. Since then, -6, -95, and -208. Do not ask him to run. That said,
insane.
that said, in 2019, he had a 63% completion percentage on 374 passes. It's not bad. Following year, 355 passes, 70.1.
Okay.
And this past year, 524 passes, 70 flat. For 4,186 yards, 36 scores, and 8 picks, sacked 37 times. Who the hell has Sam Howell over this guy? You out of your mind?
Look into the tape, as you should. We saw someone who consistently made the right throws in like intermediate distance.
That was something we noticed.
Yeah.
His intermediate ball is actually perfect.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fantastic intermediate ball.
He has great accuracy on all levels.
Yep.
Short, intermediate, deep. If you can fix those moments where he like just has a brain fart and can't process the football field,
right,
then you do have a starter here. And like, I get that he can't run. I get that's probably why he's not on Chris Sims' top 5. That's definitely why he's not listed as a top 5 quarterback.
He's not a modern quarterback.
He can't run. Okay.
He can throw though.
Yeah.
Like he can throw.
And
he can really throw.
Do we pay quarterbacks to run or to throw?
Well, Lamar Jackson hasn't been paid yet, so I'm thinking it's throw. I know he's not a running back anymore, but like he still hasn't gotten paid, and it's starting to look a little sus.
And we don't expect Carson Strong to go in the first round. Probably a second rounder. I have a 2-3 round grade on him.
I've got a 2-3 as well.
I think at worst you have a really good backup who can start on some teams.
This is a 2-3 I would take over Sam Howell. That's why he's over Sam Howell on the list. Straight up. I would take him over Howell. I think the arm is there. There are some throws that he makes you just like, that's an NFL throw.
Mm-hmm.
You can point to it. The deep ball needs help. Short ball needs a little help. The intermediate ball is better than I've ever seen.
Yeah.
The intermediate ball is ridiculous. That's not fair. Number 4. Now we're getting to the gut. These are the 4. So who's left? Malik Willis, Kenny Pickett, Desmond Ridder, Matt Corral. Matt Corral, Malik Willis, Kenny Pickett, Desmond Ridder. Kenny Pickett, Matt Corral, Desmond Ridder. I'm going to say it 50 different times. Okay? I'm like shell gaming you with these quarterbacks. Number 4.
At number 4, in the gut of quarterbacks, the stomach.
Right in the chest.
Desmond Ridder, Cincinnati.
Desmond Ridder. 6'4", 215. Here's the problem. We've been reading past day or two, and by we, I mean me.
I don't read.
Well, I made you aware of it. That apparently...
I read 2 books. They both belong to Dan Snyder.
Oh, God. I read both of Dan Snyder's books. Oh, my God. According to a source, I forget who is it? Tony Pauline? Is that who it was?
Yeah.
Apparently, most teams, if not all of them, are beginning to view Desmond Ridder as a first-round pick.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fine. Take him in the first. I will not object to that. You're not going to get an F if you draft Desmond Ridder, unless it's in the top 5, in which case you will get an F.
You're going to get a C for Cincinnati.
Yeah, I'll probably give you a C on that. Desmond Ridder is an interesting prospect, but I don't think either of us view him as the prospect that certain analysts think he is.
Now, the biggest problem with Desmond Ridder is really his throwing motion. And if you can fix it, like they fixed Josh Allen's feet, then maybe you got something here. You got something here. But right now, he throws that ball way too high, basically all the time. And if it's a 50-50 ball, he throws it way too low. I'm worried that we got a little sucked into the whole Cincinnati thing because Alec Pierce is getting hype, and I don't get it.
Right. Now here's the thing with Ridder. We're going to read off some stats here, and there's an albatross here. And it's his 2019. It was his second year. Now he got better. He played 4 years at Cincinnati. I'm not going to say he was a bad quarterback at any point because he wasn't bad ever, really. And he's actually ascended, which is what you want to see out of a college prospect. You want to see a college prospect get better year to year. But there's a noticeable albatross, and I'll reference it here. 2018, 311 passes for a 62% completion percentage for only 2,400 yards, 20 scores, 5 picks. Not to mention everybody, 572, 650, 592, and this year 355. Those are all his rushing yard totals year to year. He runs the ball. He's a dual threat. So yes, the yardage numbers are going to be a bit diluted in college with a dual threat quarterback. That's going to happen all the time. But here's his 2019, and I really don't like seeing this number because it is reminiscent of Wyoming Josh Allen. He threw the ball 325 times. His completion percentage was 55. That's astounding. That's astonishingly low.
And if you were here for the Josh Allen years, the reason he wasn't that high was the accuracy problem.
Was the accuracy issue. Yeah. Now, he went 7th, so clearly Buffalo saw something, and they were right.
They fixed that. They fixed it.
Yeah. So if you can fix the Ridder issues, which it seems he's on track to do because 2020, 66%, and this past year, 1/10 shy of 65, it seems like he's going in the right direction. 3,300 yards passing this year, 30 touchdowns, 8 picks, only 26 sacks. That's pretty good. It's not bad at all. Rushing yards were at his all-time low.
He's obviously an athlete.
Yeah.
He's
pretty good.
Probably the most athletic quarterback in this draft, actually.
Probably.
There is untapped potential.
Yes.
If you can fix his issues in his mechanics, then we might wake up 3 years down the line and think, how the hell did we let Desmond Ridder slip this way.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is I got two names.
Mhm.
Is this guy Josh Allen or is he Paxton Lynch? That's what you're looking at, right? It's a raw quarterback. It's a guy that needs work, that has flaws, but the sky's the limit. Josh Allen has hit it. Guy's probably going to win MVP in the next 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Paxton Lynch failed miserably. Just didn't work out. I think if it were me, who am I leaning closer to? Allen.
And now, I'd probably lean closer to Josh Allen.
Yeah, I would lean closer to Allen on this. I think he's going to be better than – I think he's going to improve. I don't know if he's going to be a superstar, but I think he is going to improve.
And the last thing to throw in another positive there, when watching tape, it looked like not as well as Carson Strong at times, but it did look like he knew how to read defenses and where to go with the football.
There's some good reads there. This was the one thing that was odd. He throws the ball high, his release point's very high, except for his 50-50 ball, which is for some reason low. Mm-hmm. It's odd. He has a height adjustment issue with his ball. That can be fixed. It's just a mechanics throwing motion change. It's not the end of the world. You can fix that. In fact, it's probably harder to fix feet, and that's what Josh Allen's thing was. And they fixed that with flying colors. So it's why Ritter is not low like he is on some boards, but we're also not going to put him crazy high like he is on other boards. He's probably going to go in the first round, though. You're probably going to hear his name called.
We have a late 1 to early 2, and I'm talking first 5 picks in the second round.
Yeah, I don't think he's getting out of the first.
Yeah.
I think depending on where he goes, my theory is it's going to be a trade. I think somebody's going to move up and go get him. If that's the case, we have to grade it a different way because you do have to go get your quarterback at times. So I'm not Ritter going at 12. Would I put him as the 12th best player in this draft? No, not even close. But if you have to go get the quarterback, we're not going to give you an F for that. We probably won't give you a C either. It's a player that does have to be taken because it is a quarterback. It's the most premium position. There's only so many of them, and we really only view 4 of them as potential first-round picks.
Ritter, really, his future is going to be decided on what team drafts him. So let's play a little with the teams because Pittsburgh Steelers look like a huge threat to get him.
That would be a good fit.
Yeah,
I like Pittsburgh for him.
Who else? Tennessee makes sense.
Tennessee makes sense. New Orleans has some newfound capital. They can do it.
Minnesota should do it, even though they just drafted.
Minnesota should, but they won't.
Yeah, even though they just drafted Kellen Mond. Cleveland should do it. Do it.
Jets should, but they won't.
Yeah.
Giants really should.
Giants have 2 first-round picks, and they're not going to pick a quarterback in this year's draft.
How funny is that?
Let's move on. Number 3.
Number 3. So who's left? Kenny Pickett, Malik Willis, Matt Corral. Matt Corral, Malik Willis, Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett, Malik Willis, Matt Corral. Who is number 3?
Who won the bronze? Malik Willis out of Liberty.
Malik Willis out of Liberty.
The number 1 quarterback likely in this draft?
Yeah, we understand that it is very likely Malik Willis will go number 1.
Not number 1.
No, not number 1 overall. He'll be the number 1 quarterback taken. And I can tell you this. If Willis, Pickett, or Corral, whichever one of them, whoever it is, if any of them go number 1 as the first quarterback, I'm not going to have a problem with any of them.
Okay, yeah.
Right? I don't think
it took me a while to be like, Jacksonville wouldn't do that.
No, I'm not saying number 1 overall. I don't think any of them, if any of them is the number 1 quarterback, I think if anybody other than them is the number 1 quarterback, it's the wrong choice. But if one of those 3 is the number 1, and the other one's the number 2, and the other one's number 3, I don't think a mistake was made. I think teams will have to gauge. I just bumped the pod filter. I don't know what that did to the audio. I think whatever team makes their choice, I mean, you have to choose the quarterback that's right for you. We may view Malik Willis as the 3rd best quarterback out of this class. Potentially, he's the best fit for some teams, and that's fine. Take him. Absolutely take him top 5. Take him early. There's no problem with it. all three of these quarterbacks can be taken early. We can see them all top 15. In fact, they may all go top 15.
Yeah.
There's one of them that doesn't seem to be going as top 15 as the others, but we'll talk about him later. Malik Willis seems to consistently be the number one quarterback taken in drafts, but we put him at 3. MT and why?
Well, Malik Willis had to do everything himself in Liberty.
Yep.
And that's really his biggest knock. Malik Willis had no talent surrounding him, and he knew it, which means he forced as much as he could. And we saw the man force throws. We saw him rely on his running ability and his speed, but he wasn't as fast as he thought he was. This is a player that needed to do everything possible to win a football game. And then when he played an actual team, a ranked team like Ole Miss, he looked absolutely pedestrian. Yeah. Is it because of the talent around him? Partly, probably. Potentially. But this is a massive potential. This is a boomer bust. And we are worried that the NFL decided we needed to shift what we liked in quarterbacks to someone who's very mobile and athletic and has a decent arm. And that pretty much describes Malik Willis. But this isn't the tape of a quarterback that goes first. I'm sorry.
and you know what? It's not the stat line of one that goes first either, because we do have to address something. He didn't play in 2019 at all. He played in 17 and 18 at Auburn, but barely saw the field. He's got 2 years of Liberty numbers. And unfortunately, in this industry, it's about what you did lately. Mm-hmm. So the Auburn offer that he got out of high school, got to be honest with you, I don't give a crap. I just don't care, because he didn't win the job. He couldn't beat out whoever it was at Auburn. I don't know who it is off the top of my head. So you've got 2 years at Liberty. Okay, let's operate off the 2 years at Liberty. Year one in 2020, 265 passes. It's pretty low. 64% completion. That's good. I'm happy with that. 2,200 yards. That's low.
How many rushing yards?
944.
Low overall yardage.
Carson Strong outthrew that. Now, touchdowns, 20 passing touchdowns, 6 interceptions, sacked 19 times, which is pretty low for a full season of quarterbacking. And here's the funny part about that year. 2020, you know how many rushing touchdowns he had? 14.
Well, then.
Now, here's 2021, and there's a glaring stat. I'm going to say all the stats, and you tell me which one. At the end of it, you tell me which one the glaring one is. 339 passing attempts, 61.1 completion. Dropped a bit, but it's over 60. I'm okay with that. 28.57 passing yardage. 27 touchdowns to 12 picks, sacked 51 times. Rushing, he rushed almost 200 times for 878. The glaring stat was the sacks, 13 touchdowns. 51 sacks?
How much of
he's mobile?
How much of that is running around in the backfield trying to make...
What the hell?
So
51!
How much did Carson Strong have? 54?
No, maybe ever. I don't think Carson Strong had 54 sacks. Carson Strong was sacked. I don't want to keep blowing up Carson Strong here. It's not like he's our top quarterback.
But he's a tree.
He is a tree. That's true. He just stands there. Yeah. So he should be able to get sacked more. I'm not going to pretend like Liberty's talent level is better than Nevada's. It's probably not. But he was only sacked 37 times. 14 less times, and he can't move. And he threw the ball 200 more times. He was standing there. He was a sitting duck because he's Carson Strong because he can't move.
Malik Willis, any other year would be a second-round pick at quarterback.
I'm very confused by Malik Willis. I see the way he throws, and yes, it's a good ball. He throws the ball fine. Why doesn't he do it more? Why doesn't he do it sooner?
This is the definition of a boomer bust prospect.
Absolutely.
He has talent and he has traits, but can you actually mold them? Because he's raw. He's very raw. He needs help. He needs years to develop. I wouldn't draft him if you were Detroit. I wouldn't at all.
Oh, no, we put it straight up. Detroit should not draft this player.
You need to have a quarterback, a veteran quarterback, to sit there for maybe 2 years before Malik Willis should become your starter.
Malik Willis is mobile. Malik Willis is not an idiot. Malik Willis throws the ball well. Malik Willis thinks he's way quicker than he is, and it's what burned him a lot, getting rushed. His arm strength is there. His touch isn't perfect. If this league, I think the league is convincing itself that he's the next great mobile quarterback without having a whole lot to go off of. Just because he's in the draft doesn't make him a great mobile quarterback. As far as a better prospect or a better project guy, I might go Ritter. Like, this is just not. Willis is a good player. I don't want to make it sound like I don't think he's a first round pick, because I still think he is, but you don't want him starting day one.
Not at all.
And by the way, our little thing here, we said ideal fit is Pittsburgh or Atlanta because he won't start day one. Take Atlanta off the board because he would start day one.
Throw Indianapolis on that board.
Well, Indy can't get up there. They don't have a one.
Trade Darius Leonard. Did you know Darius Leonard's still a Colt?
When I was listening back to the episode, I heard that part again and I still laughed. Still like, what the hell are you talking about? Dude, why is Darius Leonard still a Colt? Why not? Because the Colts aren't that stupid. Because, you don't want to lose the second or third best linebacker in football. Call me crazy.
Listen, if you hit, Malik Willis is a star.
Yeah.
Like, actually. This is why
you got to mold him.
This is why he's going in the first round. This is why currently he's expected to be the first round quarterback. Desmond Ridder is a safer prospect. They're both boomer bust, but Desmond Ridder is safer than Malik Willis.
Both of them scare me. Both of them make me a little nervous.
But when we're doing this quarterback ranking, we're not trying to rank where they are right now. We keep that in account, but we're also trying to project just a little bit. And if Willis and Ridder both hit, Willis is the better player.
Malik Willis got sacked 51 times from a Liberty University schedule. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to look right now at his sack totals. It will surprise nobody, by the way, that the game he took the most sacks in was Ole Miss. It should shock nobody. He was sacked 9 times in that game. That should surprise no one. What should surprise people is that the game against the University of Louisiana, the Louisiana Raging Cajuns, I don't know what their actual whole call sign is. The Raging Cajuns sacked him 7 times. 7 times. How? Aren't you fast? You're noted as a mobile, running, moving quarterback. But no, apparently against Syracuse, 6 sacks. Against Troy, 5 sacks. Against University of North Texas, 6 sacks. Army, got to get 5 sacks from them. Army sacked them 5 times. They lost to Army. What? How? How do you do that? How do you lose to Army by more than you lost to Ole Miss, which is more mind-boggling than anything? But you lost to ULM. You beat North Texas despite being sacked 6 times. You lost against the Raging Cajuns 42-14. You lost to Ole Miss 27-14. Somehow less of a margin. I don't get that. Yeah, you kicked the crap out of Old Dominion. Congratulations. You kicked the crap out of Middle Tennessee State.
Doesn't Alabama do that to Old Dominion like yearly? Or is that Citadel?
They do it to Citadel, or they do it to a few teams they do it to.
Okay.
Yeah. They sometimes just do it to Vanderbilt. But yeah, no, I didn't they play? Who's this? Is this the Lending Tree Bowl? They beat EMU. Good work. 56-20. Whoa.
He's a project.
And he was only sacked once in that game.
The jump from Liberty to the NFL is going to be massive.
It's going to be pretty big.
He's above Ridder because if he hits, he's a star. He has more potential than Ridder as a prospect. Ritter's probably the safer player. These two are very close.
I want to make something very, very clear. The Liberty thing stinks. right? Like it's not a difficult competition. Strength of schedule is really easy, but this is a league that drafted Carson Wentz, drafted Trey Lance. They both went to North Dakota State. Carson Wentz was a Pro Bowler, MVP candidate at one point. You can go from small school, low competition to the NFL and play well. Josh Allen, Wyoming. I mean, you can do it. But if you're going to get sacked 51 times, there's an issue. Maybe your O-line was actually Swiss cheese, but 51 sacks, when you're a mobile quarterback, is 51 sacks. That's too high. Get rid of the ball. You got to get rid of the ball. That's insane. I didn't even know that. I didn't even write that down initially. 51 sacks. That is wild.
Let's move on.
Maybe he's below Ritter. No, I'm kidding.
Let's move on to number 2.
Now we have 2 left. Matt Corral, Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett, Matt Corral. Who do we put?
Kenny Corral.
Matt Pickett, Kenny Corral. Golden Corral and Picket Fence. Who do we put at number 2?
I think you should say this.
Kenny Pickett.
Yeah.
Pitt. And I was a little disappointed to do that.
Yeah.
We were both a little disappointed to do that.
I wasn't. I fell in love.
Well, here's the problem. The difference was this, because obviously now number 1 is Matt Corral.
You want to revisit that Chris Sims quarterback ranking right now?
Yeah, our 1, 2, and 3 are the same, and we're kind of pissed about it. But we're not happy about it. But we're actually pretty comfortable with it this year because it is a weird quarterback year, but the ranking does appear to be this. Ritter being lower on his list than Howell and Strong not being part of it, we felt disrespectful. We felt that was very disrespectful.
It was a Brock Purdy amount of disrespect.
No, nothing is that disrespectful. That's insane. But what's funny is Brock Purdy's going to be done in the NFL probably come August. Like, that's the sad part. He's going to probably have less of a career than Logan Woodside.
No, he's Chase Daniels.
Daniel.
He's Chase Daniel.
Chase Daniel doesn't have an S in his name. I hate it too.
Come on, Chase.
He has an S in his first name, but not his last. I don't get it either. But anyway, so Kenny Pickett, we've already addressed the elephant in the room, or I guess the 8.5-inch elephant in the room, that his hands are just not big. I don't give a damn. I really don't give a damn.
The man wears gloves.
Wear gloves. He played at Pittsburgh. It was cold weather. He threw fine. Move on.
Once. He threw like 3 passes.
What?
It rained once, remember, in Pitt?
Oh, yeah.
He threw like 3 passes.
It rained during one of the games. He threw the ball during the rain. I think he threw a touchdown. Like, he's doing fine.
It was an overtime one, wasn't it?
Yeah, and they won. He's doing fine. I'm not looking at Kenny Pickett as a guy that I'm worried about. That's a great way to put it, actually. Kenny Pickett is not a player that you have to look at and be nervous about, because Kenny Pickett is just good. He knows how to play this game really, really well. And he took a Pitt program that wasn't expected to do a whole lot and made it really sad that Keaton Slovis is quarterbacking them next year.
Yeah.
Really
Can you believe that? He got a second chance.
They're going from Pickett to Slovis. I weep.
I mean, just say that name and you can weep. Pickett
now,
Slovis.
Now, keep in mind, Kenny Pickett has 5 years of stats at Pitt. His first year, 2017, not very long, so I'm going to pretty much omit it. But let's go 2018, 19, 20, and 21. 2018, he throws the ball 310 times for a 58% completion rating. That's low. That's low.
That's some Slovis numbers.
For 1969, which is also crazy low, 12 touchdowns, 6 picks, sacked 33 times. That's not a good first year, simply put. Let's improve on it, shall we? Year 2019, he throws 469 passes for a 61.6%. That's an improvement. It's a solid improvement. 3,000 yards passing, 13 touchdowns to 9 picks. Not a great ratio, but not terrible. 29 sacks. It's okay. What are you laughing at?
Just the last sentence in our Kenny Pickett scouting report.
Right? Oh, yeah, we'll talk about that. Okay, that's funny. It's not actually analysis, but we find it funny. 2020 throws 332 passes. I'm assuming that's a COVID number. 61.1% completion. It's fine. 2,400. It's lower yardage, but again, COVID number. Exact same ratio. 13 touchdowns and 9 picks. And 11 less sacks, 18 sacks. Okay, that's fine. God, his 2021 better be really good. Well, guess what it is? 497 attempts passing, 67.2% completion, 4,319 yards passing, 42 touchdowns to 7 picks, only sacked 29 times. Not to mention the man's rushing yards from 2017 on, 93, 220, 110, 145, 241, with touchdown totals of 2, 3, 2, 8, and 5. He can run. He doesn't need to run. It's a mobile quarterback. It's not a throwing running back. This is weirdly like my ideal quarterback. I like a quarterback that can run, but isn't looking to. And this guy can. That was why I liked Trey Lance so much. That was why I liked Carson Wentz so much when he was coming out. I like quarterbacks that can run. What?
Trey Lance's tape did not fit that description, though.
It fitted enough. He wasn't looking to run. He just did because he could. I like this mold of quarterback. I also like the fact that out of nowhere he became synonymous with the term I'm a college football quarterback leader. He was a leader. He led his team into the gates to the gates of hell and then through it, and they would follow him no matter what. This is a tier 1 quarterback, and we believe there are only 2 in tier 1. Every throw he tries is made with conviction. I'm covering Kenny Pickett the most because Kenny Pickett I was way more passionate about. Every throw he takes is made with conviction. He wastes no time if he knows that pocket is collapsing. He either gets out or gets the ball away. He wastes no time. He's good on the run. He doesn't give up on plays. And here's the knock I will place on him. He's Carson Wentz with gloves, which is not necessarily a good thing because I still think Carson Wentz was a good quarterback. Now he's not. He's got a bad attitude. But hero ball was a term that was used a lot for Carson Wentz. I could see Kenny Pickett having some of that problem. I also expect Kenny Pickett will be more consistent, however, about knowing the right move here. Now, do you want to say the last sentence in our scouting report? Because it is just funny. It's for the lulz.
The man looks like Bo Callahan.
He looks really similar to Bo Callahan. And Callahan, we would know if there's anyone that knows about Bo Callahan, it's the 2 of us.
Yeah.
In the movie Draft Day, there was a quarterback that Sonny Weaver, played by Kevin Costner, is really thinking about drafting. Trades up to the number 1 spot, very much like the Washington trade for Robert Griffin III way back in the day. And they go up to number 1 and they look like they're going to take Callahan, whatever. They don't. They end up selecting Vontae Mack, a.k.a. Chadwick Boseman, rest in peace. And they don't take this guy that nobody went to his birthday party, whatever. Watch Draft Day. Just watch Draft Day.
It's worth the watch every year.
It's worth it. You can watch it once a year maximum. If you're watching it more than once a year maximum, you have a problem. You have a severe problem, and we can help you with that problem. Call now.
Anyways, Kenny Pickett. When John says he's a tier 1 quarterback, let's put some grades out here. What do you grade Desmond Ridder as? Because I have as a 2nd round quarterback grade.
I'm tier 2.
Does that mean 1st round or does that mean 2nd round?
He's the back of tier 2. It could be either or. It's split between.
Okay.
I have Willis in like tier 1.5.
Malik Willis, I have basically as pick 30. Like if I would grade Malik Willis, it's pick 32.
Yeah, he's a player that I would trade back into the round to take.
Kenny Pickett is a mid 1st round pick player. He would be a 1st round quarterback last year. He would have been one next year. He probably wouldn't lead either of them, but he would be a 1st round quarterback.
I agree.
Let's move on to number 1.
Number 1 is Matt Corral from Ole Miss.
We've never agreed with Chris Sims more, and I hate it.
Yeah, and what's funny about this year's class is Epteen and I just tend to not agree on quarterbacks, but this year we made this list together. It was difficult to make, but agreement was not difficult to find.
Matt Corral exudes toughness and competitiveness. Exudes. We exhumed the Baker Mayfield's Cleveland Brown career. We exude Matt Corral's future prospects.
That's better. It's sad, but it's better.
Let's start with the negatives with Matt Corral. His timing is a little off.
A little bit.
That's fixable. Ole Miss runs a ton of RPO.
Doggy, do they ever?
Yeah. So there'll need to be a little bit of adjustment period. What else? You fix the timing. You fix the fact that he didn't really have to process defenses that much. Then everything else I like. We got an accurate passer. We got one who's, when he's on rhythm, is deadly. We have someone who can scramble and make defenders miss, but he doesn't look to do it too much. He's, like John says, he's a mobile quarterback who looks to throw first.
Now, Lance Zierlein comped him to Baker Mayfield.
Yeah. And this is funny because I didn't like Baker Mayfield coming out.
And what's funny is I did.
Yeah.
I like Matt Corral too. It's a guy with he brings the gas, and he's not the biggest dude in the world. Now, by the way, Kenny, just for reference, Lance Zierlein, who we are big fans of, Lance Zierlein's comp for Kenny Pickett is not a good one.
What is it?
Actually, it's not a bad one. It's prime Andy Dalton, which during that prime, he was pretty good. He wasn't bad.
Playoffs, yeah, playoff quarterback.
I'm curious what Sam Howell's was. I'm going to check on Sam Howell.
How much of this Baker Mayfield comp is just the fact that Matt Corral is the same height?
I mean, probably.
Is it all of it?
It might be.
Yeah.
It very well could be. Oh my God, Sam Howell's comp is Chase Daniel.
What did I say?
How amazing is that?
What did I say?
That's so funny. Wait, we should have done this before. What's Desmond Ritter's? Desmond Ridder is, God, what is Desmond Ritter's pro comp? Okay, there it is. What is it? It is, let's see if we agree with these. Desmond Ritter's pro comp is loading. Please hold while I direct your call to sadness. His pro comp is Alex Smith. I hate him now. I hated Alex Smith.
Anyways, Matt Corral.
Before the leg injury. Obviously, the leg injury, you don't want anyone to have to go through that. But I didn't like Alex Smith. Who's the only other? Carson Strong was the last one.
Yeah, you look that up while I finish up with Matt Corral.
I will. And I'm also going to do Malik Willis.
So Matt Corral, short to intermediate, just as good as Carson Strong. And in fact, with that offense, you would see wide receivers basically trying to get yards after the catch. Corral has that. Deep ball, you want to see him use it more, but he does have arm strength. What?
Carson Strong's comp is Drew Bledsoe.
Isn't that the best one that we've said so far?
That's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
I'm going to go pull Malik. Keep talking.
This is a quarterback that can throw while he's scrambling. There's so much. There's athleticism to. There's just athleticism. There's kind of bravado to his play. This is a leader, and it's a leader that leads with his play on the field. This is who I would take first. I would take Matt Corral first while John goes fully bug-eyed.
Malik Willis has a weird comp.
What's his comp?
It's a really weird comp. It's two players, but two different players, like two players that couldn't be more different. He gave him Jalen Hurts build and play style.
Okay.
With Jay Cutler's arm.
Okay.
Listen, if Malik Willis has Jay Cutler's arm, take him.
Yeah.
Take him.
And if he has Jalen Hurts like play style?
Still take him. No, Jalen Hurts' play style is fine.
Okay.
He just has arm limitations. Jalen Hurts is no dummy. He just can't throw that well. He's lacking one key component of being an NFL quarterback.
Now, if I was Detroit, would I draft Matt Corral second overall? No, I wouldn't.
No. This is all kind of coming into this whole echelon of basically saying, like, if the rumors are true that Trayvon Walker could go number one.
Oh no!
If it's possible that happens,
the show's over.
then Detroit stays at 2 and takes Hutchinson. If the Jags take Hutchinson as they're expected to, Ebtine and I are big fans of Detroit getting out of there.
Get the hell out.
Just get out. You don't need to be there because you do not need to take a quarterback there. You can take a quarterback that you want later. Somebody will want to draft. Who's picking third? Houston?
Houston's picking third.
Somebody can jump Houston to take
fourth is
whoever.
Right?
Jets or Giants. It's one
Jets,
of them. They're up there clouding
the Jets. 6 is Carolina. If it was up to me, the first quarterback would be taken with Atlanta's pick.
If I'm Carolina, I am pounding the phone in Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
Pounding it to try to get up to number 2 and get. You know which quarterback probably will help Matt Rule save his job fastest? Willis. I think Willis saves his job faster.
Why? Because it's known that he has to develop?
I think Willis's first year, I'll make a bold statement right here. I think Willis is going to have the best first year of any of them. I think he will. I think Corral's actually going to be a little disappointing his first year because he has to coach the RPO out of his head.
Yeah.
Kenny Pickett is going to have a good first year, but I think he's going to look pedestrian. It's going to look Josh Allen-esque. These are just theories. I think Malik Willis is the most popular of all of them, just socially. So for the perspective of Matt Rule is to save a job. It's about doing what's best for himself and his team. If Malik Willis puts asses in seats and gets them forward quicker, you kind of have to do it. Would I do it? No, I would take Pickett. If I were trading up to 2, I would take Pickett or I would take Corral. I don't think Corral needs to happen at 2. From what we've heard, Corral is number 1 on no one's board.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Which we don't get. It's us and Sims and a couple of other experts, but no team has him at number 1. I don't understand that. Now, I'm not even 100% sold on him being R1. I'm a huge Pickett advocate. I like Pickett a lot. I think he's going to do well in this league. That said, we made sure to make this little note because I know we put it there because I think I told you we were putting this note here to the tune of me basically saying, I want to make sure that we are very firm in saying Matt Corral's our 1 because I put a note next to Malik Willis. Kenny Pickett is closer in ranking here to Willis than he is to Corral. We do view Corral higher than this class. Pickett and Willis are close.
And then after that, Willis and Desmond Ridder are close.
Yeah, and then after that, there's a gap. After that, there's a gap. Carson Strong is not close to Ridder. He's his own beast. And Sam Howell, we just don't like that much. So that's your quarterback situation. And we have a note here next to Matt Corral. Situationally, he's the number 1 quarterback on this list. And it's situational because there are teams that could take him that we would hate the fit.
Oh, yeah.
We think New Orleans is a great fit for him. We think New Orleans is a really
Sean Payton was still there.
It'd be perfect.
It'd be beautiful.
Perfect.
Yeah, absolutely.
If Sean Payton was the quarterback, was the coach of the Saints, it would be perfect. It would be objectively perfect. Now, Atlanta's not a bad spot. Carolina's not a great spot.
I don't want to see
it. You know what's funny, actually? Carolina might be a good spot because they could still run some RPO with him and McCaffrey if McCaffrey is healthy.
The thing with Carolina is, for the quarterback's sake, I'm sorry, Carolina fans. All of you that are still there.
Right. All 7 of you.
I hope you don't draft the quarterback. Because because I think you're the worst situation.
They're going to.
Yeah. I think you are the worst situation in the league right now. When
Carolina not drafting a quarterback is either an indication that Matt Rule was told you have 2 years rather than 1 to turn this around,
or he was told,
or he was. So there's 3 choices: 1, the one I said; 2, the one you said; or 3, Matt Rule's actually that stupid and thinks that he has his quarterback in his building. And I'm going to tell you something real quick. Sam Darnold earlier this week. That's what we forgot, by the way.
Oh, dude, it was
Sam Darnold
on my brain.
Sam Darnold earlier. There was something we knew we forgot to mention, and that's what it was. Sam Darnold, about a few days ago, mentioned something along the lines of he felt that he proved that he is. He said something along the lines of, "I know I'm a good quarterback in this league. I proved it." First of all, that's grammatically wrong. Second of all, it's factually wrong. Nothing about what he did nothing about that sentence, the execution or the content is correct. Nothing.
He told the Jets they were making a mistake by trading him.
They made a mistake drafting him.
Yeah. They also made a mistake drafting Zach Wilson.
Yeah, the Jets are mistake prone. They're very mistake prone.
Is the best quarterback in recent Jets history still?
Don't say Mark Sanchez.
Is it still Mark Sanchez?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Unfortunately, yes.
Oh my God.
The best quarterback it should have been was Hackenberg. They just misused him and Hackenberg busted hard.
Sure, misused and walking bust.
Hey.
Hackenberg walked into the NFL a bust. He left the NFL.
That's only 99% true.
Wait, does that mean the best head coach that the Jets have had in recent memory is actually Rex Ryan?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's the last time they won a playoff game.
Oh my God. Do you know what Jets?
Two straight conference title berths.
Draft a quarterback, Jets.
Don't draft a quarterback.
Draft a quarterback.
You know what's funny? Matt Corral, in my head, is a Jet. Like, in my head, that screams Jet. I don't know why, but he does. Don't do it. You have one, or at least you think you have one, so just stay away from this class. I don't hate any of these people, so I don't want any of them to play for you.
Listen, Carolina.
Actually, draft Howell. I don't care for Howell.
Listen, Carolina, if you're gonna draft a quarterback, you could also just wait a year and pick up Daniel Jones from the Giants for cheap. It's going to be the same thing as Sam Darnold.
What if the Giants draft one? What if the Giants draft one
They're
and
not
trade
drafting.
Jones? What if they do it, though?
They're not.
What if
they should. They should. I would give them an A.
Who would trade for Daniel Jones and what would he get? What would it get you to trade DJ?
Houston.
Okay, but what would you get? He's not going to start.
You think Davis Mills will start over Daniel?
I am sure Davis Mills starts.
I mean, he should, right? He should.
Yes, he's earned that.
But
Houston's weird. Houston is weird.
Houston's weird. Carolina probably would only have to give like a fifth. What about Carolina? Carolina and the Giants make a deal. Like, you take Daniel Jones from us, you give us Christian McCaffrey, and we give you Saquon Barkley.
In a parallel universe, Matt Rule is the coach of the Giants. Like, he was kind of supposed to be, and then it didn't happen. Yeah,
you dodged a bullet.
Yeah, the Giants dodged a bullet. Now they have Brian Daboll, which is good for you.
Hopefully.
Damn. I hope he fails. I really do. I like Brian Daboll. I hope he fails.
I like
an Eagle
Herbert. I hope he goes to New Orleans tomorrow.
Justin Herbert?
Yeah.
How about Philly?
No. I don't want you to have that.
Why?
I don't know why, but for some reason that makes me ill.
No, Epstein doesn't want it to be basically just an unmitigated fact that my quarterback would be better than his. He doesn't want that, but it could happen.
So we have a show.
Be very afraid. Next week, we're going to bring you a fun episode. A little bit of friendly competition. We're going to draft some teams live. We're going to do a live draft. No visuals. We're not going to provide visuals.
Studio audience of my dog. Wow, that was perfect. That was perfect.
What's good, Oz?
Crap.
So we're going to do a live draft. Only first round. I know we said no trade. Do we want to stick with no trades?
If you want to do a trade, we'll put on a timer for
That's fine. We're gonna set it to where we're gonna have 2 minutes per pick. 2 minutes per pick. And we'll time keep for each other. And we will have to give indications of whatnot. If we do a trade, we'll have to add like a minute or something to cut a deal. We'll figure it out. We'll figure out the rules. But it should be fun. It's just for fun. This is our what we would do draft. We have 2 episodes left until draft day. What?
Crazy.
Yeah, it was fast. Really, really fast. Really fast. We are shocked that we got everything done, but we did. This episode's being shot earlier than it needed to be, which is also really fun.
But necessary, actually, in the long run.
And generally necessary. We're shooting again probably in a week is when we're going to shoot the fun episode. And no, it's an exciting time. We're getting close to that time. It's almost draft day.
Now, before we sign off, we would be remiss to not mention the passing of Dwayne Haskins.
Yeah, we shot a tweet out about it yesterday, a couple days ago. I think the day it happened, and I'll read the tweet real quick, and then we'll talk about it briefly. I think the first thing, though, I want to make sure that we're very clear about. We make a lot of comments and jokes on this show. We do. We talk about a lot of players, a lot of people, and we talked about Dwayne Haskins' football career on this show at length. We've talked about choices that he made in this show. None of that matters. None of it matters. I don't care what Adam Schefter and Gil Brandt have to say about it. None of that matters. What matters is that a man tragically lost his life. A young man tragically lost his
24
life.
24 years old.
Yeah, he's younger than both of us.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just horrible. No matter how it happens or whatever. I think the story goes right now that he was hit by a truck or a car or something like that. We don't know the full story. There were certain conflicting reports about it. We're not going to get too into those details. The important fact is that he is no longer here, and that's just deeply tragic. The tweet that we sent out reads, "R.I.P. Dwayne Haskins." This happened while we were in the midst of editing our last episode that was coming out. And I wanted to make sure that we were clear. We do not reference his passing in that episode. We waited until this one because it hadn't happened yet when we had written that episode. So that episode's going to come out with no reference to Dwayne Haskins. We sincerely apologize for that. It's just we're so small a team. Editing happens when it happens, and we shot it early. So I made sure to write, our episode scheduled for release this coming week was recorded prior to this tragic news, and therefore we do not reference his passing. We don't, but we're doing it now. His football career doesn't mean a damn thing when you're talking about
a person
life like this. You're talking about a human being, and that's it's not right for anybody to have made his death about his football career. Yes,
he was so clearly beloved by his teammates.
He was beloved by everybody.
Yeah.
Dwayne Haskins is a human being. All these players are human beings. I'm reminded of people like any player that has just lost their lives in such a surprising and just shocking way like this, to go so young in what seems to just have been such a tragic accident or just occurrence. I don't know the right terminology really. No matter what it is, it's bigger than football. These guys are people. They're not invincible. They're not invincible demigods. They're human beings that wear helmets and pads for our entertainment. And, obviously, yes, it's for their job too, but it's for our entertainment. And when one of them dies like this, the NFL is a family. Football is a family. I don't know if anybody has ever been part of a team sport, but if this happened to any of my teammates when I was playing back in high school or whatever the hell I was playing, it would have been devastating. So I can only imagine what Dwayne's family and his teammates are going, or his former teammates are going through right now. I think our hearts go out to them for damn sure. Our hearts go out to Dwayne Haskins' family, the NFL community. It's never easy. It's never good. And to happen to somebody so young in such a shocking way like this, and to hear some of the just rancid takes from some people. And we already mentioned Schefter and Brandt. They both apologized. I don't want to talk about that too much because it's just so reprehensible what they said. And I don't even want to repeat it here. Guys, if you're interested in finding out what they said about it, go ahead and take a look. But yeah, rest in peace. That's really all you can say. I can't say much else about him. No, we didn't know him personally. No, we'd never met the man. yes, we were critical of his career. We were critical of his football experience on this show, of course. It's part of what we do on this show, but we're not going to criticize somebody. You got it is time and place, and it's never when somebody has passed. But it's not right. So these people they're human, and he will be sorely missed by all those that cared about him and all his teammates and his friends and family. Anything else, 15?
Let's leave it at that. That was objectively wrong. We are the next men up. We'll see you next week.
We will bring some draft information, and hopefully we won't have any more bad news to have to talk about. But if there is, we will. Stay tuned. We're being a little bit more active on socials now. We have some more activity with as far as promotions going. We should be easier to find and more readily available than we've ever been. So stay tuned for some new interesting stuff. I'm sorry to have to end a show in such a somber way, but you can't not talk about these things. Guys, we'll talk to you next week. Keep your eyes on news, and we'll bring you more of it next week with a fun draft. See you then.